America 250, my goodness. Can you just imagine? This nation has been around for 250 years. For some nations, like in Europe, it's not a long time, but for us to survive everything this nation's been through and to be where it is today and to be a great nation as it is in the world stage, it's just unbelievable. I look at Fairfield County as being so unique. There's about 3,200 counties in the nation, 88 within the state, everybody knows that. But Fairfield County is the best. It has patriotism that is just bar none, the best in the nation. You're either patriotic or you're not. You love this nation. You love what this nation stands for. You love what the state of Ohio stands for and the values that the state, but especially you're proud to be a resident of Fairfield County. And that's one of the things I always say. I love where I live. I love to be part of Fairfield County, and I'm especially proud to be a commissioner from Fairfield County. Of course, we're here at the Georgian, and I think what's really interesting about the Georgian, I recall several decades back, looking from across the street and seeing this beautiful home that was in such disrepair. And the Fairfield County Historic Society acquired this property. They restored it, and what a beautiful place. It was built in, I believe, 1832 for the McCracken family. And if it had been demolished and torn down, we would have lost part of that history. So maintaining that history, and then we go up the street, up Main Street, we have William Tecumseh Sherman's house, who was very important in ending the Civil War. People don't realize he was actually the major player in ending the Civil War, and that was when he went into the South and went into Atlanta. That was his purpose for his campaign. And knowing the history of this great nation is very important. And so for the teachers out there that are teaching history, so we need to get the young people involved and actually have an understanding of what made this country great and why we should be so proud to live here in a free society, that we have the Bill of Rights that guarantee that we can speak our piece and freedom of speech. And most countries don't have that, but we do, and we should be very proud of that. And so part of that history is being lost, and especially being lost with the young people. And I encourage anybody that's able to please talk about the history that made this nation great. I think the first thing we can do as a community here in Fairfield County is display the flag. We have not only the American flag, the 50 star, but we have the America 250 flag. And so by displaying those flags in whatever means possible is part of the involvement. It's one interesting story about the 50 star flag, and many people do not realize that Robert Heft, who designed the 50 star flag, was here from Fairfield County. And so people need to know that. He was a high schooler, and he received a C for his project from his teacher, and then after it was selected by then President Eisenhower, I think she changed the grade to a higher grade. And so, but a lot of people don't know that, and it's important, and that's part of the history I talked about. One of the reasons our nation and our state and this Fairfield County is as great as it is because of our veterans. The veterans who fought for our freedom. And if they had not done that, things would have been totally different. And if you think about Jacob Parrott, Jacob Parrott was the first recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Just think of that, from Fairfield County, born here in Fairfield County. Or we think about somebody like Tom Moe, who spent 1,881 days as a POW. That's 5 years, 3 months for us. And then we have Sally Farmer from Baltimore, who was part of the Bataan Death March, and she survived that. She was a nurse. Heath Robinson Sergeant Robinson actually started what we now know as the PAC Act. The PAC Act provided health care and resources for those who were suffering from the effects of the burn pits in the Mideast. And it was because of him that this PAC Act was passed, and that included the work that his wife carried on after he passed away. The things people have gone through for our freedom, we need to be thankful every day and thank our veterans whenever we can. You know, I was around when we celebrated the bicentennial. Here's actually a flag which I've kept. That was in 1976. And here we are 50 years later and celebrating 250th anniversary of the founding of America. It makes me so proud. And you know, this flag is totally different than what the 250th represents, but it's very important that we remember the history that made our great nation as great as it is. There's going to be many parades throughout the state of Ohio. There's going to be one here in Lancaster, July 4th. I would encourage everybody to come out and show the patriotism that this country deserves, Fairfield County deserves, and be thankful that we live in a society that is free, and that freedom only comes from God, and we're very thankful for that.